Gotta squeeze myself over in here. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome to the channel. Maybe it's not even welcome back. Maybe it's welcome your first time. Thank you so much for being here, for joining me on the channel on this beautiful day in which we are going to do a full album listen. We're going to listen to this full album here, Future Legends, by the band Fruupp, is how I understand to pronounce their name, because someone said that it rhymes with cup, so Fruupp. This album released in 1973. So I've never heard of the band, but I've seen their name pop up occasionally, and this album cover always stuck in my mind because it is trippy. There's something going on with that album cover, and I always kept in mind, someday come and listen to this band. So today we are going to listen to this band. They are a North Irish band, so we're trying to diversify a little bit, kind of dive into different areas here for the month, and here we're landing in Northern Ireland. The band, and in some instances this album, has been suggested and recommended to me by Hishan Farfan, QTPWQT, let me see, hold on, Dig It IG, Malekmo, Sometimes I don't know how to pronounce the names, but those are some of the people who have mentioned this particular band. Almost lost my hat there. So I'm excited to get into this, see how they sound, what they do. I mean, they do music, so let's go. That's my intro. That's my intro. Hope that you guys enjoy listening to the album here with me. We're gonna be here for at least an hour, I would presume. So settle in. Settle down. I need to settle down too. I just ran a 5K this morning, so today, it's the afternoon right now. Like it's such a beautiful day right now. I was like, I'm not wearing a t-shirt. I'm still kind of cooling down a little bit, and I still have some of that adrenaline, those endorphins running through me. So I'm like, I want to do a full album listen today. So let's go ahead and listen to it. We're going to start off with the first track, which is the title track. And since it's only 1 minute and 30 seconds long, we'll let it lead on to the next one. So we're going to listen to Future Legends and Decision together, and we'll kind of take it from there as we go. So let's dive on in, settle down, grab a drink, grab a glass. Here we go, guys. Give it a second. Give it a second. It's coming. It's a nice kind of bed to intro us into the album. Let's see where it goes. Kind of cool. Definitely interesting. idea where this is going. So interesting, like interesting composition. Reminds me of Yes. Did not hear that coming. Okay. This is a solo. To end all solos. This is good. That high harmony of the bass is kicking up that rhythm. Okay, we're in. We're in. Hair raising. Oh. Oh, never mind. Back into this rumbling, tumbling, rambling drum of a rhythm. Okay. Listen, how are you feeling in those first two tracks? How does this make you feel? The first track was a nice bed of an intro, laying down those classical strings, kind of gently leading into this symphony of music that we're about to endure and enjoy in the next track, and I'm assuming the following. And then swiftly, very swiftly, in Decision, it cuts through all that. It kind of expands upon some of those classical themes because still the music, when I'm listening to it reminded me, if I could take a moment, it reminded me a little bit of Griffin, a little bit of Gentle Giant, and the way that they kind of mix these classical themes with, of course, progressive rock and just rock in general. Because, for example, to me, the highlight of this particular track of Decision is that guitar solo. I mean, it is just out of this world. It was kind of giving me the same feeling, the same euphoria, for example, and this is just me talking how I'm kind of comparing and feeling. It gave me that same euphoria as, like, for example, the guitar solo from Hotel California. Like, that same kind of just blistering, powerful, dramatic piece of music, beautifully nested within the song itself. I think that was just fantastic, and the tone there was equally wonderful. On the guitar here is going to be Vincent McCusker. Just a great, great tone there. And then after that solo, just while we're in the middle of that, after that solo, that little high note, that little falsetto that's just kind of eking out afterwards, and how everything begins to build around that. The bass playing was really, really nice, especially in that moment. It's kind of taking over, taking lead at that particular point, sending it into the next stratosphere. The bass is going to be played by Peter Farrelly, who's also handling lead vocals and apparently painted the cover for this album. That is a cool painting. It's like one of those ones that you can kind of look at for a while. You can look at that artwork and get some details out of that. I mean, I think that's fantastic. The lead vocals also fantastic, perfectly appropriate for what's being played here. Epic enough, soaring enough. Like, they just hit the spot. They hit the spot. And then, like I said, those little classical touches kind of strewn throughout. For example, you heard the strings, of course, in the beginning, and then also throughout the second track here. I especially like that moment where the violin is just kind of cutting a little bit. And then the piano. The piano kind of moves between, from what I'm listening to, it kind of moves between like jazzy and then back to classical. It's kind of like going back and forth, hand in hand. Keyboards, oboe, and some vocals. And the arrangement's going to be performed by Stephen Houston. And then, just to round it all out, the drummer, Martin Foy, or Foyer, I'm going to say Foy. That heavy rumble, I always call it rumble tumble. I don't know why that's what I feel, but when I hear that, like on the toms, like dum ba dum bum bum or something like that, I'm always thinking rumble and tumble. I don't know why that's what I call it, but it is what it is. And that is what it is, and I really like the aggressiveness and the power that's displayed in those particular moments there. Listening to the verses in this particular track, when I said that it reminded me of Yes, I don't mean like the band reminded me of Yes. I just mean in the verses and how they were being played, it reminded me of Everydays from Time and a Word. Like, I don't know why, it just kind of reminded me a little bit of that. I don't know. It's not like, I don't know. It's just the feeling I get. All right, let's get into these lyrics, huh? The darkness spreads and spoke of sin, and hides the sign to welcome in. Another day begins to say the things you did you'll do again. Life just seems to be a bore. It has no meaning anymore. You could forget the loneliness and bring yourself to happiness. It's your own decision. So, what I'm getting out of this, what you reap is what you sow. Evening seems to furnish life and then assures them of a strife. You can't explain just how you feel, you only know just what is real. Life just wasn't what it seemed, something more than I had dreamed. It has meaning in the seal. Happiness, you turn to me, it is your own decision. It's your own decision. You make your choices, and those choices lead to consequences, or what's a more positive word besides consequences? Consequences sound negative. What's like the positive word? You make your choices, decision. I don't know. You guys know what I mean. you understand what I'm getting to. That's what I'm feeling. All right, let's move on into the next track here, which is going to be As Day Breaks with Dawn. Let's move on. That's volume pedal control. The bass is just kind of muddling underneath it. This is something like Tool would use to open. Like, this is very Tool-esque. ahead and open them. Such a cool opening there.
Must say you got a few days out of memory, and it's okay. It's a love game that you play. But when the day is gone, the night comes on. You can't see your strange things you accept. You won't let me go away.
I like that little organ.
Heaven and hell, both the same. Play the game, feel insane. On the knee, strange desire. I wanna jump straight in the fire. Burning days, burning nights. Nothing's gained, there is no light.
Gotta break those strings on that thing. I can't follow this thing on a first listen. It keeps on changing. I love that guitar. Just the notes it's playing right there. Scared me. I like how they bring this moment back though from the beginning. Always counting you in.
Must say you got a few days trying to make money, and it's okay. It's a love game that you play. But when the day is gone, the night comes on. You can't see your own strange thing. You accept me, you won't let me go.
There he comes in.
Breaks when the night has gone as the day comes on. Day breaks when the night has gone as the day comes on. Day breaks when the night has gone.
Hear the guitar like harmonized with him there that last moment. Okay. All right. This is such a unique bending together and pushing together of genres, because let's be like the intro is pure classical beauty. I mean, it's just lovely to listen to. I gotta admit, I really love the sound and how they were doing it so much that I kind of latched onto that and I was like, ooh, let's stay in this vibe for a while. And then it jumped, and I do mean jumped, 'cause it jumped off into the cliff of metal, basically. Like, it's proto-metal-esque. If you were to make those guitars a little heavier, make the singing just a little bit grittier, I mean, you pretty much have a metal track there, especially with the pace and the tempo of the drums, the aggressiveness of the instrumentation. But underneath all that, I still love those little gentle touches of classical. For example, that little organ sound. bam, 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 right? And that even plays throughout later on. And then they break it all again, reintroduce us basically to that intro, but adding just a little bit more. I like how quiet that moment is, how quiet we break away from the loudness of the verse, and then just kind of recreate ourselves. We start from nothing with just the quiet vocals, and then we start to build our way back up with some really lovely guitar playing. I love how the hi-hats come in to begin that little bit of rhythmic movement, just beginning, just like the beginning of a heartbeat. It's just starting, and then of course as it builds up, you get the bop bop bop, the count in, right? Da da da, ba da 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 da, ba 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 da da da. Not that hard, but I think the way that they did it, like at first, I mean, listen, it's a first listen, right? This is my first time listening to the band and this album, so especially when it comes to stuff like this, which is more progressive and there's more twists and turns, it takes me a little bit usually to acclimate myself, right? As with most, I think, people when they listen to something for the first time, you don't always get things on the first listen. Sometimes it takes a little bit more. However, now that I'm kind of lowering myself into these waters, even with these breakneck changes and the constant movements of everything, I'm starting to enjoy it even more. Like, before, I would have said, like, okay, that verse kind of came in kind of out of nowhere, and I was so much into the beginning that I really didn't want to change it. But I actually kind of like what they're doing in blending it all together. I kind of like the jarring aspect of it in this particular case here. Lyrically, must say about a free day trying to make my hand. And it's okay, it's a love game that you're playing, and when the day is born, when life is on, you can't sing, you want strange things, you want sad things, you won't let me go away. Heaven and hell both the same, play the game, feel insane, all of me a strange desire, I want to jump straight in the fire. Ah, burning days, burning nights, nothing changed, there is no light. So as day breaks with dawn, the beginning of a new day, the beginning of new opportunity, symbolic and representative of life, and then he basically says that life is a game. So I think this is really just, that's what it all boils down to, is talking about life. And when light comes on and the day breaks with dawn, outside nothing's gained while you weep. With me, your lives one day born for the death which call, your mind looks at gold as the day breaks with dawn. Your mind looks at gold as the day breaks with dawn. Like, perhaps like it's a new day. Like I said, you got new chances to make choices, kind of like the decisions we made in the previous song. Must say about a free day trying to make my hand. Okay, that's just repeating the same words. And then it ends repeating, day breaks with dawn, the night has gone as the day comes. Excuse me. So yeah, that's what I think it's about. Just the starting of a brand new day, the starting of making new choices, brand new decisions, and seeing where those end up. Now, I don't know if those decisions are the right decisions, because the next track here is Graveyard Epistle. So maybe it didn't end well. Let's go ahead and give it a listen. We'll talk about it after. Here we go. Listen to the organ. I love how they took that same movement, brought it down.
No, my mind corrodes as the sanity of it explodes. Traveling sailors of time, passing as the clouds still chime.
Guys,
Going off the hardest time, said
nice break into this shuffle. It just moved into straight jazz right here. Love the oboe playing there. Okay, how cool is this section here? And this melody just kind of wafting in the air. Just intensifying. The bounce now from the shuffle to a bounce. I mean, this section is just like blazing. Just when you thought they've scaled the mountain, they find another summit. And right back to the beginning. See? Right, they bring it full circle each time. We're done. Well, I say the choice was made, the decision was made, and I think my decision is that this ends the first side of the album, and I think we've ended at this particular point with the best track on the album. Graveyard Epistle is the best track so far. Perfected the formula, the blending that we talked about before, all the mix-ins, all the fix-ins, everything in there, but set to 11. I think that this is a perfect track. The way that it starts off heavy, gets into that groove in which it rambles, and then it gets into the guitar, but then it softens it up. It makes a statement, it creates a motif, but it creates the heavier motif, and then it creates the softer version. and then the verse builds out of the softer version, which is just incredibly lovely. And then they go on from there and repeat that later on, which I think is just so smart, just from a composition point of view. Like, just to have that piece of musical memorabilia, and of course reprise it later on. I think the way they did that was just fantastic, kind of ingraining a certain sound in our minds to listen to. The singing is perfected here. The guitar playing is perfect. I mean, like, I think that this is just a fantastic track. The best one on the album so far. The oboe, of course, being included in here. The groove of the verse and how it slows down, hits those emotional punches alongside the very effective singing. It's a fantastic formula, and I like how powerful it is, just from an emotional point of view. And then, of course, like I said, how that expands and really expands into the heavier point of view as well, but just pushing that idea further along. Graveyard Epistle, 10 out of 10. Not even a question in my mind. Oh, how my mind corrodes as the sanity of it explodes. Traveling sinners of time, passing as the bells do chime. Saw you in the moonlight, stony eyes that showed you are crying. Am I reading the... Yeah, I am. Okay. What vision do you see in the south? I do believe, go with us. The heart is cried, sent away the tide. People smelled just with the bed until they heard the crying head. These lyrics are, I mean, even in the previous tracks, a little bit cryptic. Poetically cryptic. What can I do? Sit beside this graveyard too. Must life be sad for the season instead of living for a reason? Like, instead of sitting at the graveyard and bemoaning, grieving, which of course is appropriate, why not take the time, use the effort and the energy, and put it into living, basically. Season wore a meaning, but its path was cleared for a meaning. We must start to defy, please go away and hide. Look over there, see the smoke happens to float, and start the choke flutters down from above. Don't look down in a flood. Don't worry about what's above, don't worry about what's below, worry about what's right in front of you and focus on that. I think, you know what I should have checked? I should have checked to see if this was like a concept album or anything, but I didn't. So let me just look at that right now to make sure I'm not missing something completely. I'm not seeing anything here initially that says or hints that this would be a concept album. It says to promote the album, the band undertook a 2-month tour, which finished in November 29th, where they played with an orchestra. Yeah, so as far as I can tell, I don't think that this is a concept album, but you know, I could be 100% wrong. Anyways, we are moving on into the second side of the album, and before we move on to the second side, you guys know I like to do a little test, see who's here at this particular moment in our album listen. Referencing the album cover, if you're gonna sit on a horse naked, I do think that that's the best way to do it, like that little sideways action, because you wouldn't want to sit normal. I don't think that'd be great, and you don't want to do it backwards. So, I think maybe the best would just be standing. Anyways, what do you guys think is the best way to sit on the horse? I guess, yeah. I guess that is a good choice. Anyways, I don't even really know what my question was. What's the best way to sit on a horse? Sure. Let's move on into the next track here, which is Lord of the Incubus. Here we go. I like how they give you these little false endings and move into
Hey,
something else.
mister, won't you tell me what is it that you see? Is there something over there we're all too blind to see? I hope it's not old Juggernaut who's come to feel his way. From what I've read, perhaps you've heard, he's that wrapped up in grey. It seems unwise to doxologize when you don't know what's for sure. I'll be my friend and tell me please, is it dead?
ominous about the organ in the music now.
To take my trip. For those of you who call in doubt, unless you scream within, without, conceal that artificial voice. Do not neglect his eyes and trust, for he's the Lord of the Incubus, and in his life, his dreams bring love.
The piano and the violins at this moment are just going to got some panning going on. To a barnyard brawl here at the end. We went pure country here. Or saloon-esque. Making the rounds here. I really like when he brings those falsettos in. You know what I'm noticing about a lot of the tracks here? See if this makes sense. This is just what I think I'm capturing on a first listen. You know how like a typical song will, for lack of a better word, be verse, chorus, break, chorus, chorus, right? So let's just take that formula. A, B, C, B, B, right? Okay, listening to what we've heard of Fruupp so far, their structure seems a little bit different because I'm hearing more of like a like this. A, B, C, D, C, B, A. Like, theirs is more like a circular motion instead of like, I don't know, I don't know. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because they constantly reprise certain moments and they seem to like hit a midpoint and then they almost play back. Like they play the music that they played before going back. It's almost like a pendulum, the way that their music plays. This one has a lot going on. For example, that bluesy, saloon-esque playing that we got down to in the barn at the midpoint, that was that midpoint. That was bottom of the valley. And then we shifted back into, for example, the heavy, more epic, you know, darker tone sounds with the harmony, that falsetto, and then all the music crashing around it. The organ, of course, playing a crucial role in that. And you still have that circular motion, but this one definitely took a slightly darker tone, which kind of works with the lyrics and the title of the track at least. I will say that bluesy saloon-esque moment in there, I didn't quite like it. I found it didn't fit with the mood previously. Like they've had this really cool classic rock, symphonic kind of movement going on throughout their music, and this kind of bluesy moment kind of took me out a little bit. And then some of those longer moments kind of took a little bit too long, like the hits and everything. And I was like, okay, let's get back to the stuff we were listening to before. I'm ready for that pendulum to swing the other way. But I still enjoyed the song. I'm still having a great time here. This one did not ruin those little moments I mentioned did not ruin the song at all, which I thought once again was just fantastic to listen to. Hey, mister, won't you tell me what it is that you see? Is there something over there we're all too blind to see? I hope it's not old Juggernaut who's come to feel his way. From things I've read, perhaps you've heard, he's death wrapped up in gray. It seems unwise to doxologize, which I've never heard that word before, when you don't know what's for sure. Be my friend and tell me, please, is it death or is it more? He looks a lot like a phoenix flop, but he seems like a friend to you. We don't know what's happening here. Please tell us what to do. I mean, I think you guys you need an exorcism based off of the title of the track. Come all aboard this crumbling ship if you want to take my trips. For those of you who crawl in doubt, lest you scream within without. Conceal that artificial fuss. Do not neglect his eyes have sussed. For he's the lord of the incubus, and in his mind his dreams bring lust. Okay, well, yes, an incubus, a male demon that has relations of sorts with whoever's dreams he's in. So yeah, I think you just need an exorcist, basically, is what you need there. You get it all figured out. And let's move on into the next track here, which is Old Time Future. Old Time Future. Old time. A little bit of the past, a little bit of the future. Let's go. That's an anthemic guitar right there. See, this is that subtle dramatic power that I love. Let's stay here in this moment for a while. Let's wait in these waters. Let's stay. Keep waiting, keep swimming. One more time. Thank you. There's a transition. That's a smooth one. That's a good one. Go.
Strange habits of violence have come from the past. Gestures of hatred, leaders outcast. The old-time future is crumbling at last. Now I am the chooser, and hers is the time.
Really nice rhythm on the drum and bass part. Really like the tom use in there. Old Time Future so easily captures the silver medal at this point. Second favorite song on the album. So easily. I think you guys kind of noticed like what I like by now, especially within this album itself. Those softer moments that lead into the powerful moments. Just the whole revolution of that and the cycle of the way that music happens. Even when the rhythm speeds up just a little bit from that break point, it still maintains the focus that was set down. It still builds off of the foundation that was set down with the music that was built before. It just takes it in a slightly more energetic direction. I love the group harmonies to just push the music along, lift up the spirits of the music. Drumming in here was fantastic. I really enjoyed the pattern that was used about halfway, 3/4 of the way through. When we have that powerful moment, the ba-da-da-da, and then the kind of intersection with the toms, using that in there. It reminds me a little bit, not like rhythmically necessary, but just the use of the toms. It reminds me of Swing by Japan. You know, boom, 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 boom. Like I said, it's not the same rhythm. I'm not comparing the two because they're worlds apart. But just the way that here the toms are used in the midst of that particular bar. I just think that's really nice, especially in the way that it kind of makes this sound even more epic. The very anthemic guitar that we opened up with, you kind of knew where this was going. And I'm glad that they stayed focused in this particular round. Because, for example, kind of like with the last track, even though the band in the other tracks I've really enjoyed how they kind of have that diversity in their sound. They kind of, take left corners, do over here. They go into different directions. But I like something that's a little bit, for the most part, a little bit more stable in where it's going. This track is that, and I really enjoy the stability they have in here. Once again, I gotta mention it, the organ is put to great use in here. The guitar playing was really, really nice, because the whole thing kind of built this sympathetic kind of tone. Like, there was a looking back, perhaps a nostalgic kind of look back, perhaps a kind of looking back with sadness, wishing we did something, that I'm also kind of getting from the lyrics here as well. But the way that the music kind of played to all of that, I think was really sensational. We got to return to some of those falsettos, which is always welcome, because of how good they sound. Falsettos don't always sound good, but I think they're put to great use here. Look up above, what's there to see? The walls of thine castle be gone, we are free. Now, when he mentions the castle there, I already mentioned the organ playing, but like, if you put castle and organ together, I mean, they just work. And it's at that moment there when he says that in the lyrics that I really felt the power of the organ in kind of embodying the castle as well. Look all around, now what's there to say? Thank Christ for our spirit we are born on this day. Strange habits of violence have come from the past, gestures of hatred, natives outcast. The old-time future is crumbling at last. Now Ireland's the chooser and hers is the task. So I can't speak to the history of Ireland, so, I will let you guys fill in the blanks on that. But I do feel that it's basically, be grateful for where we are now. There was a lot of violence in the past. Let's learn from that. Let's not forget that. And let's use that in building our future. As it says here, now Ireland's the chooser and hers is the task. It's up to Ireland, the people of Ireland, to now build this country into, I guess, something you can be proud of, basically. That's at least what I'm thinking. I could be wrong, but that's at least what I'm feeling on this one. Let's move on let's do the next two tracks together, because it's 7 minutes for this next one, Song for a Thought, and then the last one is only 47 seconds long, which is, I'm assuming, a reprise of the first track, because they're both named Future Legends. But yeah, let's go ahead and let these two run together. We'll talk about them after. Hopefully you guys are having a great time. Let's go. Almost sounds like flute, but I don't think it is. And they broke into it again. They broke into it again. You heard that? I like that.
I went out this morning
I'm not hard to figure out what I like.
to see the day arise. Went by the river. What's the water flowing by? Came from
I like his volume control when he's singing there. Isn't the bass glorious in here? It's a nice tone.
So disillusioned. I just don't give a damn. These things which come upon me, they stay all day and night. Won't someone listen to me and let me see the light?
I love those scratchy kind of wails from the guitar. There's the oboe. Oh, okay. Little bit of a march here. There's the gallows. Silence. It's a grimy tone. That's a sweet lead in. Nice switch. I really like this symphonic buildup that's happening right here. Waiting for the last few notes there. That was hot. And the final track here.
Well, I know I don't know where I'm going, but I know that I know when I get there. Just know I'm here and I know I'm there. And I didn't know I knew.
You know what I really like? I love when a band does a reprise like that. When they, for example, it was just orchestral, the first Future Legends, right? And then they brought it back here. It's the same, I think it's the same notes, basically. It sounds like it. But now it's just gentle guitar, kind of just on a windy day, and just their harmonies that just soar and float above it. Like, I think that that's a really, once again, smart compositional choice to do it that way. Because you expect a little bit of the same, right? When you see the title track basically again at the end and 47 seconds, you're like, okay, it's going to reprise everything. But how is it going to do it? I like how they called back without being directly sounding the same kind of thing. Anyways, moving on to the second to last track, was really the penultimate track. That was the one to, like, for the band to really put everything into for that last moment. Which, by the way, I also like when bands do that. When the second to last song is either, it feels the most epic, it feels the most soaring. It's like that last hurrah, and then they kind of give you a little bit of a whisper at the end. I like when bands do that, or when an album has that kind of structure as well, because it kind of brings you up to that height, and then it gives you a cool down at the end of that workout. So, Song for a Thought is definitely that workout. Once again, it's that perfect juxtaposition between the heavy and the light, the classic and the rock. And I really enjoy how the orchestral arrangements come in, especially on the back half, on that final run up that hill. You already have at the halfway point the violins that you hear them cutting in and stuff. By the way, really nice oboe playing in there. And then as it gets further up that mountain, as it begins to climb that hill just a little bit more, they become more aggressive. The guitar from McCusker, sorry, I almost said McCluskey, from McCusker comes in and accompanies those strings almost stride in stride, hand in hand, just hand over hand, just trying to climb the rocks, climb that mountain to that final summit, that final zenith. And the way that the music crests is incredibly satisfying to listen to. All the elements that we heard from before are in here to great effect. The great singing, once again, from Peter Farrelly and the rest of the members in there. Awesome organ work, beautiful piano playing. Like, everything is in there the way you would expect, but it's magnificently played. I think if I was to give a bronze medal, it would go to this track. And that sounds bad when I say, like, medals, but it's just another favorite track. I would easily say Song for a Thought. So let's look at these final lyrics here. Going to Song for a Thought. I went out this morning to see the day arrive, went by the river, watched the water flowing by. News came from blackbirds to follow by her side. They'll have their fun, she's overrun, going click and black with wine. My name is Mr. Midget Frog, okay, living with fire. A fool so disillusioned, I just don't give a damn. These things which came upon one, they stay all day and night. Won't someone listen to me and let me see the light? I mean, this is kind of still harkening back to, like, as day breaks with dawn with this, I went out this morning to see the day arrive. Won't someone give me, or listen to me and let me see the light? So we're kind of getting a similar lyrical theme, but I don't really know what this one's about. But I do like the lyrics on the final track with Future Legends. Well, now I know when I go where I'm going. Well, I know that I know when I get there. I don't know where I'm at, and I don't really care. I just know I'm here, and I know I'm there. And I didn't know I knew. I like this almost riddle-esque nature in the lyrics. This kind of confusing, but not really so much. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know where I've been, but I know I'm here. I didn't know I knew I was here, but I am here. So I think it kind of comes back to this kind of acceptance, once again, focusing on the now, the present, worrying about the future later. Not grieving over the past, just worrying about the current and writing, in a sense, with that current. This was a fantastic album to listen to. Thank you guys for the suggestion. I know that this wasn't like an overwhelming suggested album, but I wanted to listen to it, and I'm glad I did. Hope that you guys are glad you did as well. So, favorite track is easily Graveyard Epistle, then Old Time Future, and finally Song for a Thought, off of a first listen. That's what I'm very comfortable saying that it was my top three. So, definitely an enjoyable listen. Let me know what you guys thought, however. Did you enjoy it? Did you not enjoy it? Were you kind of mid on it? let me know in the comments down below. I appreciate you being here, spending some time with me, listening to the music as always. Press the like button if you didn't already. Subscribed, all the usual things. You can follow me in a few places that are here on the screen, but I hope that you had a good time listening to this. Hope you have a great rest of your day, or your evening, or your afternoon, or your night for a matter of fact. And I hope to see you guys tomorrow. Thank you.